check out these awesome classic Superman figures from McFarlane Toys. Wait, what's that? Oh, there's another one? Bet. Because today we're going to take a look at the Silver Age Superman. Hey, what's happening, YouTubers? We're back with a brand new action figure review, and like you heard in my opening monologue, yes, we have a new Superman, this time a classic and definitive one, and everyone's been hyping this up saying it's the best one, but we'll see about that because, you know, I have to take a look at it and my opinion matters the most, in case you didn't notice. I'm just kidding, it's so stupid. Anyways, let's take a look at the box art first. So it's your DC Direct McFarlane Toys digital, physical, whatever the heck it is. On the side of the box you say McFarlane Toys digital, Superman based on the Silver Age. There's a theme here with Silver Age and digital. I'm working on a video about that, so stay tuned. Anyways, on the back is the Silver Age Superman image, and that's enough about the box. Let's get Superman out. Alright, here's Superman out of the box. Let's take a look at his accessories first. So first things first, he comes with these base plates that you get with all McFarlane Toys figures. Oh, that never gets old. You know what is getting old though? These digital cards that the digital McFarlane Toys digital figures come with. So there's that. Then he comes with the data file card that you see with all McFarlane Toys DC figures, and it's the same image artwork you saw on the back of the box, and on the back is the data file. Feel free to pause it if you want to go ahead and read it. And he also comes with two sets of hands. It's these mitts that you've seen before. So it's open hands right there, then the fisted hands on the actual figure itself. And that's pretty much it when it comes to accessories, but when we take a look at the figure itself, it's basically reusing the Crisis on Infinite Earth body mold, which I never got that one, but I did a couple months ago review the Fleischer Superman, which is using the same body mold. So I'm not going to delve in articulation and stuff like that because you've already seen it before. And if you haven't, go and check out that review. Shameless plug. But let's take a closer look at the Silver Age Superman, starting with the head sculpt first. And that looks like a classic Supes, probably one of their best head sculpts. I do like the blue shading in the hair right there. It's a nice key attention to detail. But in terms of the head sculpt, yeah, that's a classic Superman, or as classic as it's going to get. Me personally, and it's probably just my bias, I still like the Action Comics 1000 Superman head sculpt. And now this is the reissue one, or I guess, yeah, reissued one, but with soft goods cape and not sculpted emblem. But to me, I still prefer this. But this is also a really good one. And Lord knows we've had some bad Superman head sculpts, but these two are the best ones in my opinion from McFarlane Toys. Next thing I want to take a look at is the emblem. Now it has that black border around it, which is fine, but I know some people don't prefer that. They'd rather just a clean emblem on there, which I get. Me personally, I am, biased. I like the sculpted one from Action Comics 1000. To me, that just looks so nice and clean, but this is also clean as well because it kind of goes with the overall aesthetic of the suit. Compare that emblem with the Page Puncher Supes, which was later reissued as a DC Classics Superman, but I switched the head sculpt out because that one was horrible. No offense to the sculptor, but I did like this one. It's a nice sculpted one. But one thing these figures didn't have was the emblem on the back of the cape. So that looks fantastic. And then comparing it to the Action Comics 1000 re-release, like this one is way better. And then just to compare it now to the Hush Superman that had the emblem on there, it's basically this, just now in a cloth cape, which is awesome. Here's just a comparison of the 4 primary bodies being used for Superman or reused throughout the line. The only thing missing is the Dark Knight Returns body, and let's be honest, that was pretty bad. I sold Chad Superman, but clearly I kept the mullet because why not? Just to kind of compare, so when we first started out the line, they had this Action Comics 1000 Superman, which looked great. And then we moved on to the infected body mold, and before I move on to the other one, I just want to say there's a lot of flack for this body mold now, which is understandable. They've reused it a hell of a lot of times. But you guys got to remember, back then, I said back then, it was like 5 years ago now, but back then people were clamoring for a new Superman on this body mold because the first one they gave us were single jointed elbows. It was very limited, and people wanted like a beefier Superman, so the infected body mold was the one to go with. They finally gave us it, and then used it again and again and again and again and again to a point where it's like create a new one. And then they had the Page Punchers one, which was nice, but even this was kind of like, it worked for its time, but we finally have a definitive one. And why did it take so long? Well, it's simple, because I think Todd hates Superman. No, I'm kidding. No, I think it's kind of wild that we waited this long to have a real classic definitive Superman, because we've been clamoring for one. Like me personally, I was okay with Action Comics 1000, but I understand why people wanted a better definitive version, and to me they knocked it out of the park with this one. And reasons why we wanted a new Superman, well, it's simple for stuff like this. Because first size comparison here is next to the Silver Age Batman. And what I mean by that in terms of this is what we wanted is better scaling, because other Supermans that we've gotten, just to compare, were either shorter than Batman or the same height, and typically we wanted Superman to be a little bit bigger. And case in point, here we go with the Three Jokers Batman that I've modded. But now, scale-wise, this works appropriately. Now, let me go ahead and put back the Action Comics 1000 Superman. You'll see what I say even more. It's even more evident. He's shorter and smaller than Batman. That shouldn't be the case. And then, if I bring in the Infected Superman, you can see, again, still doesn't work out scaling-wise, which is why, like, man, it's frustrating it took this long, but now we have a Superman that properly scales with Batman. And in addition to Batman, also Wonder Woman. Well, yeah, kind of works. But now let's put in the Silver Age Batman back in there. And that is a great looking lineup right there, if you can stand. This dude's gonna fall over. Weak ankles, bruh. Alright. There we go. Yeah, that is a good looking classic trinity of DC. Alright, some overall thoughts on the figure. It's awesome. And if there's one Superman to get, it'd be this one. Well, if you can get your hands on this, because this thing's been selling out fast, much like everything in this freaking line over the last year and a half, because I think they're doing lower production runs. But if you're able to get one, I highly recommend snagging it. If not, you might have to settle for Action Comics 1000 Supes or Hush Superman, which I gotta be honest with you, it took me a minute to stand this up, and I reminded like why I don't like it, just because the ratchet ankles, and it's hard to really stand this figure up. But this figure's awesome. Still limited mobility in the torso. I didn't dive into articulation. If you want to check out the articulation on this figure or similar articulation to it, check out my Fleischer review. But like I said, this is a perfect Superman. It just kind of sucks. It took almost 5 or 6 years to finally get one, but it scales with the line perfectly. But like I mentioned, if there was one to get, it would be this one. But let me know what you think in the comments below. YouTubers, sound off, and like always, if you like what you see, be sure to hit that like button. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching.